Alright, in this Knife Thoughts video, I'm going to do something that's been requested a couple of times for a while, another collection video. So I did one a while back, and a lot of my knives in my collection have, not moved. They've stayed in my collection, but there's definitely some different knives. And this one's going to be a little bit more full of a collection overview, and I'm going to try to do it a little bit quicker with less explanation about each knife, more just showing the knives, telling you how I got them, and pretty much that's it. So we're going to start off with fixed blades, as you can see. Starting with one of my older fixed blades, I have the Blind Horse Knives Woodsman Pro. So this is from when LT Wright and Battle Horse Knives were still one company. They were called Blind Horse Knives. This was a gift. My dad bought this for me at the great Pennsylvania Outdoor Show. And it does have a razor edge regrind. So that really helped. It didn't really seem like it came with a super thin edge. And the regrind helps a lot. Really nice classic Keppert kind of style blade. Really good for hunting, outdoor, pretty much a good general use knife. So that's a cool one that I've had for a long time. Next one is, this is a Bruce Keppert Custom. So I actually, I'm sorry, Bruce Culbertson. I got Keppert in my brain there. Bruce Culbertson. I won this on Blade Forums. It's actually the first giveaway that I won in the knife community on Blade Forums there. Ball bearing steel, I'm pretty sure it's 52-100, but it might be 5160. Cocobolo or Cocobolo, however you say it, handle. Really nice, again, kind of like a necker-sized Keppert style. So I've used that one a bunch. Really nice little knife. One that I'm happy to have won from Bruce there. Moving along, we've got less traditional than those two previous is the Spyderco Reverse. So this is designed by two different self-defense instructors, Michael Janich and Craig Douglas. Craig Douglas is the teacher of the guy whose self-defense classes I take. So, I have it set up for the reverse grip or edge towards you. And this sheath was made by Darkstar Gear. He trains again with Sean, the guy that I train self-defense with, and makes really, really great holsters and also sheaths. So check out Darkstar Gear. You can see that the gym I train at and where I work is Henzo Gracie gym. Moving on, I have a Buck 119 Classic. If you're watching this, you've probably seen or heard of this knife. This one is from Northern Knives. Trying to write an article on this knife for northernknives.com or on Buck in general. Kind of can't decide which way to go about this knife or about the history of Buck. But a classic knife, could be a hunting knife, definitely could be an outdoor knife. Could even be used, kind of in a tactical way. But just a really cool knife with a lot of history to it. Moving on. And by the way, this is not going to be, there are knives in my collection that aren't going to be in this. This is basically the ones that I carry or, have not put away, for good type of deal. I've been given lots of other knives, but this one was a gift from a friend. This is the Tops Alert, so a little Kiradashi. Nice little, really small, easy to carry knife. Pretty much good for opening boxes. Not a real long blade, but definitely, easy to carry and everything. This was a gift from a friend also. This is the Spartan Harsey Model 2 for the Green Beret Foundation. Super cool knife. Probably my most expensive on the primary market knife. So really, really thankful for this gift from Dave. And again, this is a Darkstar Gear holster. So really makes this knife a lot easier to carry because this holster is so small. Really cool knife with that harpoon point and just a really well made in the USA knife. Finally, on the fixed blade ends is a fixed blade that I've been carrying a lot recently. So this is a Relentless Tactical. This actually also was a purchased for me by my dad at the Great Eastern Cutlery Rendezvous. You can see that it's pretty reminiscent of well-known knife design, the Ontario or EC Rat 3. But it's not exactly the same. Those have a drop point, whereas this has a clip point. You can see that it is clipped there. This has a little bit more gradual of a belly. It also didn't have the finger choil like those do. It had just a little choil here, kind of like a half choil. I added this. And the handle shape is a little bit different. But I've been really enjoying carrying this one. I've been using it a lot. Just comfortable in hand. You can really use it, and really easy to carry. This is not like the most expensive attachment system, but it works really well. So that's the fixed blades. So we're gonna move on to my modern knives. So I'm actually gonna pull the box out here. So first we have the Spyderco Chalkway. This is a knife that I've really liked over the years. I've really enjoyed. That's not good. There's some weird, it doesn't really look like rust, patina or something on that. But it's a knife I've enjoyed over the years, but it has developed some lock stick and stuff like that, moving off center. I have adjusted it and I can't get it to adjust back. But cool design. I'm gonna leave that out to try to work on it. This was a gift from my brother. This is the Steel Wheel Gecko. Really big, solid knife, sculpted G10, feels good in the hand. You have to watch. This can cut your finger if you close it, let it drop. But a really smooth lock back, made in Italy, nice knife. Another gift from the same brother. This is the Victorinox Alox Hunter Pro. Really solid knife, different than most of Victorinox's knives. When I saw these online, I didn't think I would like them because of these finger scallops. I normally don't like that, but they really fit my hand pretty much perfectly. So I do really like this knife. It's a little tight opening and closing, but definitely openable one-handed, and a good knife and a good blade shape. Definitely can be used for hunting and stuff like that. Let's move on to the Spyderco Domino. This one I had to do a little work on. It came, the ball bearings ball bearing pivot was kind of digging into the races in there, and so I actually removed the races, and it made it a lot better flipper. So it does flip really well now. You can see it's drop closed, doesn't have any blade play, and it's still pretty much centered. So that actually improved it a lot. Cool knife. I like the blue carbon fiber. Not everybody does, but I do, and I like that leaf blade shape. From there, we have, this one is pretty much a gift from my other brother. This is a ZT-0561 classic. I don't really think that, in my opinion, ZT has topped this design. This is a Hinderer design knife, but just a super burly knife. I have thoughts on whether frame locks are actually, good for hard use or whatever. They're certainly not stronger than other locks in general. If you want to know more about that, subscribe, and definitely check out my blog, knifethoughts.com. I'll be posting an article about different lock types. But a super smooth knife, ball bearing, pivot, easy to flip, easy to use the thumb stud, which I really like having those two methods of opening. Nice solid blade, LMAX steel, which I really like. And just a really solid knife. Again, one that I think has not really been bested by ZT so far. Let's move on to the Spyderco Endura. This is a classic. Lots and lots of people have Enduras, but I never liked these tall areas or pointed areas that create the finger scallops. They just hit exactly in the wrong spot for me. So I just sanded those off, and it makes a big difference. I do plan to get the lightweight version of the Police 4, which is like an elongated version without these hard finger scallops. But for now, I have this, and that makes the grip a lot more comfortable for me. Just a great general use EDC knife that I have put to a lot of use. Let's see, moving on. So this is, everybody knows what this is, but this is a Rat 1, Ontario Rat 1. These were on sale at Walmart recently. Some people even got them for as low as $7, but I got this for $13, which is still, I think, an incredible deal. I mean, I think this knife is a great deal at $27, which is what they normally are, but at $13, yeah, I couldn't pass it up. I had to get one. And just a great knife. Ontario does a really good job with their AUS 8, I found in the past. And they're just super consistent. I mean, everyone that I've looked at has been well made. Moving on, this is the Mastrop Ray Laconico made by We Knives Keen. So Ray Laconico is a custom knife maker that I've been following for a long time. His designs are pretty much my favorite custom knife designs. Just simple, really, you know, elegant lines. And this is a knife made by We Knives for Mastrop, and I do wish that's kind of the downside of this knife, is that they put this big Mastrop on here, and that this is upside down. It should be, you know, right side up this way. But other than that, just a great knife. You can see this has some weird discoloration also. That's from using it, you know, in real corrosive environments. But it doesn't have rust in it. It's a really nice knife, super nice actually. It makes me want to buy other We-made knives or Civivi, which I do plan to get the Civivi Wyvern. But just unbelievably smooth, you know, nice and solid, no blade play, easy to adjust, easy to sharpen with the S35 VN steel, and just really, really nice and not super expensive at like $140 compared to other production versions of Ray Laconico knives, which are often like $300. So really nice one there. So this is another kind of Walmart special. And I'm not a huge fan of Walmart. You know, it's certainly not the greatest thing, but they do have good deals sometimes. So this is the CRKT Ruger Hollow Point Plus P. There's a bunch of oil on the blade here. This is 8CR13 MOV, and it has been getting like real light rust on it, or pepper spots. So I oiled the blade. You can see that it has an IKBS system pivot, which is cage ball bearings. And this was another one that was on sale. This one I did get for $7. So you really can't beat that. It has an inset frame lock. It looks like a liner lock, but it is an inset frame lock because it's part of the, you know, the frame. And what I like about this knife is that it does kind of have like a classic traditional knife look. It looks like these are two bolsters, you know, some checkered handle there. It gives it kind of a, you know, it goes along with the firearm theme of the Ruger, which my dad always, you know, has Rugers, so I kind of grew up familiar with Ruger. And then, you know, it does have those classic lines of maybe a trapper or a folding hunter type knife with this trailing point clip blade. So a really cool knife, and definitely a good deal at $7. If you can find one, I think these are still available somewhere, some places. The rat ones seem to have dried up pretty much, but these are still available some places. So I would suggest trying to find one of those if you have the time. I don't know if these are gonna fit in here. Anyway, drop this over here. There we go. So this is the Rough Rider Pastel Flipper. Not that much to say about this other than it's super inexpensive, $7 before shipping. And I just really like these bright colors. So it's an assisted flipper. I don't think that it has a functional detent, but it flips well. No blade play, and generally a nice knife. This, where the paint came off, was from putting thread locker on there, so that's weird, but you know, who knows what the chemicals are involved there. This one was a gift to my wife from her dad, but I just keep it because she didn't want to carry it. She already has a knife that she carries in her purse and everything. It is a forgetting what, Outdoor Edge, that's what it is. Chasm, 2.5 Chasm. Really not a bad knife. It's 8CR13 MOV steel, which is what most imported knives are. Nice lockback. Really not too bad at all. Moving along, this is a Geralt knife. So this is a really, you know, really well-made knife for the price. This knife was $6 on Amazon. They were only available for a little while because what I've found out since then is that this was kind of like a test run for a real steel knife. And I forget what the version is for real steel, but this was like a test run for that. And just super nice. It has aluminum handles, has a relatively deep carry pocket clip. It has, you know, I'm just going to call it an axis lock. The axis lock isn't patented anymore, but it's basically an axis lock. You know, I think that they called this 440A maybe steel. Anyway, it's not a super high-end steel, but it seems to be more rust resistant than 8CR13 MOV. So I don't think that it's that. I think it's closer to 440C or something like that. But really nice action, and it had nice action from the get-go. Well centered, no blade play, so just a great knife for $6. If they make more of these, which I don't really think they will, definitely get one. This is a knife called the Kershaw Thistle. The reason I have this knife is because they were on sale for pretty cheap, like 10 bucks or something. And I really like this locking system. I wish that companies, Kershaw, whoever, would use it more. What it is this button is connected to a liner that you press, and it actually pushes the lock off of the lock face. So it's a safe lock because there's no point where your fingers need to be in the way of the blade in comparison to another liner lock, you know, like the liner or frame lock like the Spyderco Domino. At this point, your finger is in the way of the blade. And often companies, you know, do something to mitigate the risk of that. But still, you know, it's nice that at no point does your finger have to be in the way of the blade on this knife. You know, really cool, cool locking system. Not the, you know, best made knife. I wish that this tip sat deeper. I think I've actually had two of this knife. I think that on the other one, the tip did sit deeper. That's really my only complaint on this knife, is I do wish that tip sat deeper. But otherwise, it's nice. It locks up well, really smooth opening and closing. I'm probably going to give this knife away at some point, but we'll see. Next, this is a Spyderco Native 5 in fluted titanium. Gift from the brother that I haven't mentioned yet. I just realized also I could show him my kitchen knives because he gave me not just one kitchen knife, but a full set of Zwilling kitchen knives, and then also a Dow Strong, you know, like 10-inch chef's knife as a wedding gift. So I finally have some really nice kitchen knives. I've had nice steak knives and stuff before as gifts, but so this is a third brother. And this knife is one that I've carried and used lots and lots and lots. It was pretty much my main carry for several years, and I still carry it really frequently. But you can see that the blade is actually a little worn down from how much I've sharpened it, which happens, you know, when you use and sharpen your knives frequently. But it's a super nice knife, really smooth, as you can see, locks up really solid. I think that these fluted titanium scales are pretty much as nice as modern knife scales get, and just a really great solid knife. You know, feels good in the hand, and one that I've, you know, used and carried and really enjoyed for a long time. This is one that I won on, let's see if I can get it out of here. This is one that I won on Instagram from Knife Joy. So being honest, I haven't purchased anything from them, but I will in the future. But I had a good experience, as you might assume, winning this knife from them. So check them out on Instagram and on their website. This is the Kershaw Decimus. So this is another Hinderer design. I do like Hinderer's, Rick Hinderer's designs. This has some crud on the blade. It's not rust, but just stuff. Sometimes I put my knives away without really cleaning them off totally, which is a weird thing for a collector or an enthusiast to do, but you know. But this is a cool knife because it's based off of one of Hinderer's, you know, high-end mid-tech or whatever knives, the Maximus. And it's a really cool knife. It has that dagger profile. This is kind of a bayonet, more of a dagger, but it's you know, an assisted knife, and it does look really cool because it's totally, you know, symmetrical when closed. and then almost totally symmetrical, if not, if it had the full dagger grind when open. So just a cool knife, one that I've enjoyed carrying and using, although, because it has this kind of shallow saber grind, it's not the thinnest knife, but that's not really what it's for. It is, definitely more of a tactical knife. It doesn't have a functioning detent like a lot of assisted Kershaw knives, which is kind of a bummer. I wish that they would put the functioning detents on them, but still a really cool knife, one that I was happy to win from Knife Joy. Moving on here, this is called the Tactical Keychains Tuck. I'm forgetting to Tiny Utility Keychain Knife, maybe TUKK, or Tactical Utility Keychain Knife, one of those two. But I actually won this one also on Instagram by making a video to say why I should win one, and basically it was my wife saying I didn't need any more knives or to buy any more knives. So I won this, and I've carried it and used it quite a bit. As you can see, it's a cool little knife because it's really unassuming. You can get this in most places, and just a cool little utility knife. It uses normal like craft blades is what those are called, I think. So cool knife. Tactical Keychains has made a lot more versions of this too, so check him out on Instagram. There's some bigger versions and other stuff that they make. This is the Cold Steel Recon 1. I wish I had a big Cold Steel in my collection right now. I've had lots of them. I've had the Code 4, a couple Tall War XLs, lots of different Cold Steels. But right now this is the only Cold Steel I have. I do plan to get another one. Possibly the Immortal, but if you guys have any recommendations, definitely let me know in the comments. I like this one because, like the Spyderco Ladybug, which I don't have right now, I had one that had my wife and I's first dating anniversary engraved on it. It got, I think, stolen, but possibly just taken at a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournament. Then I bought another one, but the company that I bought it from, they had a glitch on their website, and the engraving style that I chose wasn't the right name, so they engraved it incorrectly. So don't have it again, but I'll be getting one soon. But I really like small knives that you can get a good grip on, and this is one of those. So you can see my two fingers really sit in there well, and the thumb sits right there on top. So I really like, this is an easy knife to hold on to for how small it is, and it's easy to open, easy to close. You can see I can close it one-handed. It has no blade play, really smooth. You can even usually flick it out. So a cool little knife. And I've had a couple of these, but that's that. Moving on, another one, there was a gift from the same friend that gave me the Tops Alert. Dave again, different Dave, or Dan gave me this one that I showed earlier. Dave gave me the Alert and this. So this is the CRKT PEC. Totally forgetting what PEC means right now. Basically, it's somehow, about it being small, basically. But it's a little one-sided frame lock, so you can see it locks up like that. It can't go the whole way across because of the angle of the frame, of the tang there. You can definitely open this one-handed, as you can see, and it's a really small knife, easy to carry. You could fit this even like in a shoe, in your lapel, pretty much anywhere. It's very small, very flat, so cool little knife. And again, thanks to everybody who gives me knives. I mean, it makes me happy when people give me knives. It's a really great gift to give me. I've had students at the gym at Stout PGH give me knives several times. It always is a big surprise, but always a really happy one. I really enjoy it. Lots of friends, friends of friends even, because they see how excited I am about knives. So I always appreciate that. If you've given me a knife and you're watching this, I appreciate it. Thank you. Moving on here, we have, I'm actually going to move some of these, I think. moving on here, we have one that was given to me by my wife at the time. Actually, I don't even think fiance when she gave me this, but this is the Spyderco Roadie. So a really cool little knife. Spyderco has been making slip joints for a long time. It's like real popular now to make modern style slip joints, but Spyderco has been doing it for a long time. This one was created because the TSA said that they were going to allow knives with certain characteristics on planes. They ended up going back on that. I'm sorry if you're in the TSA, but like, I'm really not a fan of the TSA. But anyway, this knife was designed for that, and it's a really small, easy to carry knife. It is a slip joint, easy to open with this kind of divot in the blade there. So just a cool little knife, almost like a modified sheep foot. And you know, of course, because it's a gift from my wife, I really love it. This is another gift from my wife. Got some oil on the blade there. But this is the Spyderco Ouroboros, and I wanted this knife for a long time and kind of ended up deciding not to get it, or just never did get it, basically. It was a little expensive for me, and especially for a modern knife. I don't buy modern knives as much. As you can see, I'm often gifted modern knives. But it's a really cool knife, and it was a gift from my wife, and I was really surprised because, you know, she wasn't into knives before knowing me, but she's been really supportive and gotten to know knives. She knows a lot of the terms and stuff like that, and she got me this knife, and it was, you know, kind of expensive knife. But it's a really cool knife. As you can see, it's a compression lock, and you know, because Nick Shabazz made a video saying about the nylon washers, it kind of got a bad rap for that. And yes, I agree that at the price, it should have phosphor bronze washers, and I don't really get why they did go with nylon washers. With that said, though, this is probably the smoothest production Spyderco, well, I guess there's not custom Spydercos, the smoothest Spyderco knife I've had. There's no blade play at all. I haven't adjusted it since getting it. I didn't buy it since my wife gave it to me. And it is super smooth. I mean, just absolutely glassy smooth. So yes, they should have put phosphor bronze washers in there instead of the nylon, but honestly, I don't think it makes a difference. The nylon's not going to rust, it's really not going to wear away or anything like that, and it's super smooth. So really cool knife. I love this profile that it has when closed. I didn't know if it would feel good in my hand, but it feels great in the hand, either like this or like this. So just a really cool knife, and one that I'm really proud to have gotten from my wife. So I originally intended this video to be about this length for all of my knives, and I'm only through my fixed blades and modern folding knives. So I'm actually going to turn this into a two-part video, just like the first collection video. I also unfortunately didn't plan my time well and have to go, so I don't want it to be too long of a video, and I also can't continue. But I hope you've enjoyed the video so far. In the next, the second part, we will look at traditionals. So in this part, we looked at fixed blades and moderns. In the next part, we'll look at my non-GEC traditionals first, and then my GECs. There's a lot of those, so I do kind of buy more traditional knives. So you know, that'll be another solid video, but I hope you've enjoyed this one. Don't forget to check out knifethoughts.com, where I post articles and everything like that. Subscribe via email so you get updates, you know, you get a notification by email when I post a new article. I really appreciate that. It helps me a lot. Like this video if you enjoyed it, which if you're still watching, I assume you did. And don't forget to subscribe here on YouTube so you get notifications when I post new videos. And finally, check out my Instagram and Facebook, and also I have a Twitter and Tumblr at Knife Thoughts. And finally, as always, don't forget to go out and do good.